In this video, I want to talk about Games Workshop's current global domination. Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. So at the minute, Games Workshop seems to be absolutely smashing it out of the park. 40k seems to be doing so well with 8th edition. Age of Sigmar has General's Handbook 2 or General's Handbook 2017 coming out very soon, and that seems to be just messing with the point levels a little bit and introducing some new alliances or allies, which will kind of refresh that game as well. We've got Blood Bowl, that seems to be going from strength to strength as well. Certainly my local club, we have our Blood Bowl League, and certainly the Blood Bowl forums that you see on Facebook seem to be very popular. Got Shadow War Armageddon out not too long ago. That seems to have lost a little bit of traction recently, but certainly the scenery that came out with it got a lot of love as well, and it's going to go forward into Necromunda, which has just been announced as well. So Necromunda is to come, if the rumours are true, November. We've also got Shadespire coming out back end of this year as well. We've got new armies coming there all of the time. Silver Tower, great game, going from strength to strength as well, with expansions for that. Gore Chosen. There's so many of those Games Workshop box sets that have come out recently that it really does seem to have shown Games Workshop's intention. They're not shying away from them specialist games anymore. They're putting time, effort, resources into bringing them all back. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Gorka Morka was next on the horizon, and I'm sure there'll be a few out there who really hope that happens. From a purely business practice, it seems like what they're trying to do is they're trying to recoup what they lost when they lost their way a little bit a few years ago. So a lot of people, when Fantasy went, they moved away to other game systems. As Blood Bowl was no longer supported, or as Necromunda was forgotten about, or as 40k kind of lost its way a little bit, people left and went to other game systems. Game systems like Kings of War, like Guild Ball, like War Machine, like Malifaux. All of these games dragged people away from what was essentially Games Workshop's hobby. And what they're trying to do now is they're trying to drag them all back in with those kind of fun memories. So Blood Bowl, people coming back into Blood Bowl, because for all Blood Bowl was always around with the living rule book and the NAF group who do a great job of keeping everything going. There are always some people, if they can't just go and buy them off a shelf, or it isn't very easy to get your hands on, or it's no longer officially supported, those people will drift away. I think games like Dread Ball picked up on some of that as well, and Dread Ball definitely saw quite a bit of success when they first launched. So that shows that there is that kind of sports miniature game that people want to get into. So Blood Bowl has dragged some people back. Silver Tower has dragged people in with memories of the old Warhammer Quest, and probably Hero Quest to a certain extent as well. So they're starting to pull on the niche of that. Shadow War Armageddon sort of tugged on the sort of the heartstrings for people who were really into Necromunda. Yes, they really wanted Necromunda to come back, but having the Necromunda rules with models that were freely available and very easily available certainly dragged a few people back in again. The announcement of Necromunda, everybody's sort of getting really excited about Necromunda now, especially with the new gangs coming back again, in plastics as well, fully supported. So that's really starting to drag some people in who maybe moved away or had a side game that was something else and dragging them back in. Shadespire, and I mentioned that in a video that you can see here, is aimed at a competitive market. People like X-Wing players, people like Magic players, and that's trying to recapture that market again. So Games Workshop really are trying to attack on all fronts to try and bring people back to the Games Workshop hobby. Not necessarily back to the hobby, but back to the Games Workshop hobby. Now imagine if you're a retailer and you only have so much retail space. Your shelves are full of all different miniature games from all over the place. Every time Games Workshop brings out a new game, you have to clear a bit of shelf space to pop that up there, because you know Games Workshop's going to sell well, so why would you not stock it? And I personally don't know Games Workshop's practices with their independent retailers, but who's to say it's not part of a bundle that if you want to buy this, you've got to take that. And I understand how shelf space works, and I understand about basically in order to fill that shelf space with what you assume is a good selling product, you might need to take away something that isn't selling quite so well. And by Games Workshop doing this and being a bit more supportive of their independent retailers, they are gradually squeezing out the competition and taking away those games that maybe aren't selling quite so well and chomping away at that shelf space to get more and more share of what's available to the customer. So it doesn't seem like they're showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. The game releases that are coming out certainly seem to have the crowd excited, and they certainly seem to be pulling on the heartstrings of the older gamer. certainly people in my age range who remember those older games. I spoke recently in my video about how to strip models, which you can see here, about how I'd found my old Hero Quest box set and how I'd started to strip their models back, and I'm going to sort of go back and give them some love. Chances are I probably won't, because I've also got Silver Tower to get through, and then Necromunda's on the horizon. And whilst I'm not personally engaged in Necromunda, I know that my gaming group is, and for the sake of putting together kind of 5 or 6 models to build a little gang, why would I not get involved? However, if I'm playing that, it's another game that I'm not playing somewhere else. It's not a bad thing, it's a really good thing to have choice. And as you know from my other videos, I'm a magpie gamer. I've flipped from game to game, but I like to have them. I like to be able to play them. And for me, it's sometimes less about the game and more about the people I'm gaming with that can make me either stick at a game or move on to something different. Anyway guys, that's it for today. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with what I've had to say today. Do you think Games Workshop is trying to squeeze out all of the kind of the little guys and try and go back to global dominance? Or do you just see this as them changing their practices and trying to bring more variation, more options back to your average gamer? Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video.